In this video, I will finally talk about how to prepare the water before you stock in the pond in a super intensive biofloc system. Welcome back to #Fish, the channel where we teach the science behind shrimp and fish farming. I imagine many of you are interested in knowing more about the biofloc technology used in these super intensive systems. Yes, I will cover here in this video what are bioflocs, how they help the water quality and shrimp grow in the super intensive system. But importantly, how do we get them in the first place? How do we get there started? So first off, what is this biofloc technology? Well, it's a very smart system to grow shrimp and more herbivore fish like tilapia in a soup of flocs, which are these suspended aggregates of organic matter, bacteria, microalgae, ciliates, nematodes that grow on the excess nutrients we add to the system, and they just stick together into these flocs. What is magical about them is that they suck up ammonia out of the water in order to grow when we add carbon to it. And by doing that, they take care of the number one problem we have in intensive system, which is the excess accumulation of nutrients, particularly nitrogen from all the protein contained in the feeds, which in the water turns out into ammonia, which is toxic. But these flocs not only keep the ammonia and the nitrite levels low, they are also a source of nutrition to the shrimp and tilapia. So they recycle the waste into food. This way, they help us to save water, minimize discharge of effluents, and the risk of bringing pathogens via water exchange. Pathogens is a serious issue. It's not funny. If you want to know more about shrimp diseases, check out Gianna's latest video. Before I tell you how to start your flocs, you have to understand that these flocs, they will take up a lot of oxygen. In fact, they take up about the same amount of oxygen than your target species, your biomass of shrimp will take. Also, they need to be in suspension all the time. So if you have to think about how to deploy your aeration in a smart way that you will not have dead zones where some of the flocs will settle. If you let them settle, for instance, in the corner of a square tank, then they will start accumulate on top of each other, form a layer, and they won't be able to take up oxygen from the water and they will die. Then what happens? Anaerobic bacteria will eat those bioflocs in that corner, producing a lot of toxic compounds. No oxygen, toxic compounds. So pay attention that doesn't happen. What has become popular these days are circular tanks that mix the use of blowers and pedal wheel aerators. It doesn't matter, one way or another. I can't stress enough that you must have a generator to provide the backup power and keep the aeration going in case you have a problem with your electrical grid. If you have a very small system, you can use oxygen cylinders and just turn on the oxygen, but still not ideal. If your aeration stops, the oxygen levels will go to zero very quickly and all your shrimp and fish will die in a matter of minutes. You have to keep up the dissolved oxygen levels above 5 milligrams per liter at all times. You also have to understand that this biofloc technology requires high stocking densities to work. Wow, it's great, isn't it? Just because the bioflocs need a lot of nutrients. We are talking here of 30 to 50 grams of feed per square meter per day, just to have a transition from the initial algal system to a bacterial system. So if your stocking density is 80, sometimes below 100 per square meter, you have more difficulties to keep these bioflocs because you won't be using so much feed to keep them going. If you're just starting in your biofloc technology career, or if it's the first time you're stocking a particular system, you just set up this system, I would recommend just go with 150 shrimp per square meter if you have open ponds, or 200 to 250 shrimp per meter if you have a smaller system, let's say, tanks where you can have a better control of things. Play with your system first. You have to walk before you run. Don't rush to increase, stocking densities and go like crazy, 300, 400. Learn as you go and have fun with it. The best time to stock a pond is when you already have a stable system with a good inoculum of bioflocs in the water. And to form the bioflocs for the first time, it can take about 30 to 40 days for the water to mature. So you have to be patient to develop them before putting any shrimp. The reason why I'd encourage you to mature the water before you stock your system is that during this period where you go from clear water to bioflocs, there'll be a lot of changes in water quality parameters because you're throwing all these nutrients there. At first, there will be a dominance of microalgae, which makes the system unstable, with those daily fluctuations of oxygen, pH, carbonates, before the bacteria dominates the system and bring the oxygen, pH levels to stable levels with not much difference between day and night. And you also will go from transparent to green, then to yellow foamish. You may get a lot of foam, that's normal, until you get dark brown, with your biofloc. So you go into the right track, and all of these changes will happen at first before the system stabilizes. In this process, there will be a spike in ammonia and nitrite. The pH and alkalinity, will drop quite dramatically. Will keep dropping. We don't want to expose our PLs to those changes. Shrimp don't like this sort of changes, and they tend to get sick if that happens. It's quite the opposite. Actually, the shrimp thrive on stable systems. This is why if you can reuse some water from another mature pond in which the culture has been successful with very healthy shrimp, of course, and no signs of disease outbreak, this would be the best way to speed things up. Right, but I'm sure if you are watching this video up to here, you want to know how to go from the clear water to a mature water with a good biofloc. Right. The good news is that there's not much secret on how we get them. It's just a few, key basic principles to follow. We'll develop the bioflocs by adding organic matter to the water with a carbon-nitrogen ratio greater than 15:1. And this can be done by adding feed and a source of carbon to the water. How do I know to get these proportions, carbon, nitrogen in the water? Well, you have to do a little bit of research depending on what you're using and find out what is the nitrogen and carbon content in what you have at hand. For instance, if you're using a shrimp or fish feed, you can use this table here to guide you on what the carbon-nitrogen ratio is depending on the protein content of your feed. It also helps to have in mind that for each 100 grams of protein, we have about 16 grams of nitrogen, or about 16%. Usually, this carbon-nitrogen ratio is lower than 15, and you have to add more carbon to balance it out and increase the ratio. So simple sugars like molasses or just normal sugar are preferred because they dissolve pretty quickly in water and will be readily available for bacteria to use. I'll give here a basic recipe for about 1 ton of water or about 1 square meter of surface area if you have about 1 meter of water column. So you can use 50 grams of shrimp feed or some cheap fish feed per square meter. And it can be an old feed as long as it doesn't have any mold in it, because it can have mold can have mycotoxins. You can replace feed if you don't want to put new feed just into water with something cheaper like rice bran or any other cereal bran if available in your area. As a carbon source, the best one I find is molasses. You also have to know what is the percentage of carbon by weight in the material you're using here. In the case of molasses, the carbon content is 50%. If you use 50 grams of feed with 35% of protein content, which has the carbon-nitrogen ratio of about 9.2, you will need to add 32.5 grams of molasses to keep this ratio 15:1. To speed up the process of bioflocs going and give it a boost, you can also add about 1.5 grams of inorganic nitrogen per 1,000 liters. And it doesn't matter if it's urea or nitrate, like I stressed in the other videos. We are not after diatoms here, and even if the diatoms come up in the very first week, they won't last long into this soup. Just calculate how much you need of your inorganic fertilizer to achieve 1.5 grams of nitrogen per 1,000 liters by dividing the percentage of total nitrogen in whatever you're using. If you have urea, you have to divide 1.5 by 46%, which is 3.26 grams per 1,000 liters. If you have nitrate in your hands, you have to divide 1.5 by 16%, which is 9.4 grams. Now, because you added more nitrogen to the system, you will need to add another 45 grams of molasses in a total of 75 grams of molasses. It is also great if you can have a starter culture, in case you don't have a BIOFLOC previous tank to reuse. But you could go by adding a commercial probiotic from a reputable brand which you trust, following the manufacturer's protocol. Also be aware that the finer the bubbles you can introduce to the system, the quicker you will get your flocks going. And also by having some shading over your tanks to block the direct sunlight will favor the formation of the flocks over microalgae. A new technology that is coming up and is very promising to go hand in hand with BIOFLOC systems is the use of nanobubble technology. Nanobubbles are these tiny bubbles below 200 nanometers that stay in the water column for weeks. I know some quite good equipment I tested personally, made here in Singapore, and I can leave the link in the description down below. Okay, after you throw all this stuff in the water, you have to monitor what's happening to the water quality on a daily basis. Oxygen, keep above 5 at all times. pH above 7.3, 7.5 to 8 is better. Keep ammonia and nitrite below 1 milligram per liter. Alkalinity above 150. And the total amount of flocks, which you will measure using an Inhofe cone, between 5 or 15 ml per liter, or 10 to 30 if you're culturing tilapia. In the next video, I'll talk about how to keep these parameters stable throughout the culture and a balanced biofloc system all the way to harvest. So thank you, stay tuned, and see you in the next video.